Mr McBain. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairship, and may I congratulate the Honourable Member for Waveney for securing this vital debate. And I speak from very much the west of the eastern region. But forgive the idiom. There are more holes in the government's levelling up strategy than in a block of Swiss cheese. Rather than improving living standards and changing lives, the reality is an extension of the underfunding that existed during the decade-long Tory austerity agenda. And as has been mentioned already, it's being used to pit regions and nations against each other as they vie for a cut of limited funding. The funding available in the Levelling Up Fund and Towns Fund restricted communities' ability to decide for themselves how to spend money to bring in investment, jobs and revive their towns. And instead, it empowered ministers to decide from Whitehall which projects might receive some funding. The government spending review also failed to resemble a genuine plan to support areas neglected during austerity. And we've heard already where the eastern region received the second lowest per capita spend of any region. The East received £92 per person compared to the UK average of £184 per person. So how can all this be considered levelling up our region? And it's not hyperbole to say that continued underfunding, especially in deprived areas in Luton South that have suffered huge cuts to vital local services under the Coalition and Conservative governments, will only exacerbate inequalities in our communities. The government's various regeneration schemes don't come close to making up for the £15 billion of Conservative cuts to local government since 2010. Local councils which have seen 60p in every pound cut, resulting in almost all discretionary and preventative services being cut. Now, against that backdrop, I was therefore very happy to support Luton Council's bid to the Levelling Up Fund and pleased it was successful. But let's be frank, £20 million of one-off capital project funding is limited in making up for the over £100 million stripped from Luton Council's overall budget since 2010. And in the context, the Bute Street car park redevelopment project that secured the Levelling Up funding, it's less than 100 metres from our decrepit Luton Town station. How can the government claim it's levelling up communities when our Luton station is not fit for purpose? Its lack of accessibility marginalises many disabled and elderly people and young families from rail travel. And while the station has been allocated long-awaited access for all funding, this hardly represents levelling up. It simply makes it usable for many by putting lifts on a decrepit station. The gateway to our town should reflect the 21st century town that we are. The station needs full redevelopment. A modern, accessible train station would play a critical role in truly regenerating our town, encouraging prosperity in our community through potential new investment and job creation. Levelling up can only be considered a success if deprived areas received investment and targeted policy initiatives that directly improve the living standards of all communities. It must be about people and not just projects. So by this measure, I have to say levelling up cannot be considered anything more than a hollow Tory strapline. My town, Luton, and our region in the east still suffer shameful underfunding and inequality with no sign, really, of the government proposing the scale of change needed. Thank you.